Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, I actually saw a couple of articles over the course of the week, and it made me start to think about the LGBTQ community. And the articles were essentially about one, Billy Porter, who is a LGBTQ activist, and then another person, I can't really remember the name, but I remember specifically that they were going to perform at a halftime show at a basketball game, right? So it's kind of a historic moment where you're going to have a transgender person perform in a athletic cheerleading event, right? And it's going to be on the professional level. I think there is a cheerleader out there who's basically done it, but it's not really on a professional level, right? So at this point, that community is making a lot of groundbreaking advancements, right? So just to let you know up front, I'm not LGBTQ. I believe everyone should have equal rights. And no, just to answer the question up front, no, I don't think LGBTQ people should have their rights restricted. And yes, I think they should have equal rights. So with that said, you have to wonder and you have to ask a question: where do we go from here, right? Because it's clear that they need equal rights. They have to have their equal rights and they have to be treated fairly. But on the same token, you're appearing on Sesame Street. You're going to influence the minds of children, right? Everyone knows that children are easily influenced, they're impressionable. You do something, they see you do it, they're going to do it. Bottom line, right? So it's kind of a touchy subject for a lot of people. And if you don't know by now, LGBTQ people can actually legally adopt children. So, they can have children of their own and they can indoctrinate their children with whatever they want to indoctrinate them with, just as you, as a straight person, could indoctrinate your children to be straight, right? I'm not saying that LGBTQ people are going to, raise gay children, but come on. I mean, children are going to see that it's acceptable. They're going to see that they have two dads, or they're going to see that they have two moms, and that's going to have an impact on them, right? They're going to be open to that, right? That's my opinion. If you don't agree with that, leave your questions, comments below, and let me know if you think that a child being raised by two dads or two moms wouldn't be open to that type of lifestyle because they grew up in it, right? So it kind of goes down or goes back to the question whether or not people are born that way or people are influenced into that type of lifestyle. I won't even go down that road. I know that's a quagmire, and you're just going to be tangled up going back and forth to argue one way or the other. But at any rate, leave your questions, comments below if you think that people are actually born gay or they just over time become influenced to be gay, right? And I'm just gonna end that tangent conversation by saying it's both, right? Because from history and through science that you people can be born as hermaphrodites having both a male genital and a female genital, right? So if they can be born that way in regards to the physical attributes, then it's possible that they can have the biological attributes without having the physical attributes, meaning they have too many X chromosomes or too many Y chromosomes, so on and so forth. But anyway, that's not really what this conversation is about. This conversation is about where do we go from here, because you are allowing people in the LGBTQ community to come on children's shows like Sesame Street and to basically perform. You're allowing them to go on these outlets and you're allowing them to perform and thereby possibly influencing children. So part of me think, yeah, this is okay because those people need to be represented in every aspect of life and they should be treated equally. And then another part of me is like, nah, these are children that you're talking about. These are children that we're dealing with, And heterosexual people don't want their children to be exposed to the LGBTQ lifestyle so early, right? I think that most people want their children to basically, they want to be able to indoctrinate their children and have their children grow up a certain way and have a limited view of the world. They want to control what their children hear and see and take part in, even though that's probably going to be almost impossible in the day of the age of the internet. But some people make that effort, right? Some people make that effort to restrict what their children can see and hear. So the fact that you're going onto Sesame Street, you're basically invading the last, I don't want to say the last defense of of heterosexuality, but in lack of a better word, yeah, that's it. You're basically invading the last bastion of heterosexuality, right? So at this point, there is nothing left for those people who want to be, who want to raise their children and indoctrinate their children from a heterosexual perspective, right? Because if they are able to basically come onto Sesame Street, what's left? What's left after Sesame Street, right? And I'm sorry if this video comes off as a little ignorant and a little harsh towards the LGBTQ community. Again, I respect everyone's rights. I think everyone basically has a right to be who they want to be without being persecuted. But on the same token, I think that there should be some limits, right? I think there should be some limits. But with that said, I think what's pretty much going to happen is that after Sesame Street, basically this is going to penetrate all aspects of our lives. And it's going to get to the point where these people are going to be running around everywhere as they are, right? And again, when I say these people, is not meant to be disrespectful and is not meant to be hateful or anything like that. I'm just saying basically LGBTQ community people are going to be everywhere. They already are. They already are, but for the most part, they've been hiding. They've been basically they've been restricting themselves, and they haven't been necessarily open, right? So I don't know. I just think this is a tough one. I really think this is a tough one, but it's obviously going to happen. And after it happens, I think you're pretty much just going to have to accept that basically gay is here to stay, and you're going to have to pretty much get along with everyone. But I'm wondering, what are people going to do now that they can't say, okay, I'm going to let my children watch Sesame Street because I know this is going to be a safe place for them to go. There's not going to be any ideas or doctrines out there that on Sesame Street that I can't protect my child from. And now you have this, so it's like, man, so like, where do you go? Like, what do you do? So I don't know. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to kind of get that out there, and I'm interested to hear what some of the LGBTQ people have to say about the Sesame Street, Billy Porter being on Sesame Street. And I'm interested to see what heterosexual people have to say about Sesame Street and how they feel about their children watching Sesame Street. Would you at this point stop letting your children watch Sesame Street? Right? Because he's basically going to be on the Sesame Street and he's going to be on there to make a statement. That's why he's wearing the tuxedo dress, right? I think that it would be okay for him to be on. Well, let me catch myself. It's okay for him to be on Sesame Street, but does it have? Do you have to wear the tuxedo dress? Do you have to just throw it in our faces and rub our nose in it? Do you have to do that? Right? You could appear on Sesame Street and probably just wear some other type of flamboyant outfit that represents gayness, but still, or LGBTQness, but still leaves people in suspense, right? So there's the element of kind of like the less you say, the more you say, or the less you do, the more you say. You know what I'm trying to say, right? You don't have to just throw it all out there. You can be subtle with it. you don't have to be overbearing with it, you know. So I don't know. I want to hear from the heterosexual people. Do you think it's okay that Billy Porter is on Sesame Street? Do you think it's okay that Billy Porter is on Sesame Street wearing a dress? And do you plan on continuing to watch your children? I'm sorry, do you plan on allowing your children to continue to watch Sesame Street? And then for the LGBTQ people, how do you feel about this? Is this a victory for you? And do you think that anything that I've said on in this video is offensive? Leave your questions, comments below. I want to hear from you.